Welcome back to Battletoads 2020.
So, just for reference sake, audiences, we're actually very close to the end.
Yep.
That should give you an inkling of how bad the pacing
This should be
is with
like
this
the
game.
end, near the end of the second act.
Like, no, we're legit near the end of the game. Like, this is my biggest problem with the pacing here. This game is way too short for some of the plot points that they want us to try and take relatively serious.
So
Jason.
let's meet Jason.
Jason!
Surprised that
sweet,
didn't make
Jumbo's
that
here.
joke. Oh, there we go.
Actually, this is starting to remind me of one particular episode of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared.
Was this the... Did the developers somehow pick up Jova not liking the game, so they made this?
Yes, this is the developers
So they made me God?
This is the developers making fun of Jova somehow.
Oh boy.
Do you, Jova?
Well, most people do.
Well, it depends. Some people like it.
I'm sorry. You're right. Maybe Jason didn't bring you into our lives. Maybe he says you're a suppressive person. Oh, what's that, Jason?
Oh, boy.
Duty and diapers? Because you're
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, Joe. Why are you so mean to Pimple?
We're family. We made necklaces, remember?
Oh boy.
Calm down. Sit down. Nice.
He's gonna
Yeah.
blow.
All right.
Yeah, that's very big relatable mood.
You killed Jason. Jova, please speak to us.
Yes?
He's alive.
Oh, you actually get to
My
beat the
God,
shit
he's
out of them?
alive.
Yes, the
By
fight.
the miracle, I am alive.
The fight is it's how shall I describe
It's
it?
like QC.
Well,
Oh, you have to press the corresponding direction.
yes. Basically, you have to pay attention to where the enemies are coming from, and punch and act accordingly. For this one,
And
you have
these two are helping.
yes. No, the idea with these is to take down the. There you go. Basically, the player 1 controls Pimple and player 2 controls is it Alpha?
OWTH.
And Bratty, yeah. There you go.
Nice.
I don't really understand how the hell this is helping, but whatever.
They're destroying the forest.
But yeah, the idea is pay attention to where they're coming from and just punch them as they come to you, basically.
Yes, you are dealing with killer hippies.
It's a cult.
And now we
Yeah,
have
pretty
to
much.
shoot them using our smartphone gun.
What is this? Perfect Zero? Oh, sorry, this is American Fatal Frame.
Battle frame, but for millennials, dude.
I actually wouldn't mind a Fatal Frame in modern times using your actual smartphone. It's a thought process. It's an evolutionary thought process that would fit the franchise, but we need to see what Capcom and Nintendo want to do with that.
Oh, I know. I was just like, for some reason, companies love to assume that, millennials
Come on,
just
babe.
use their smartphones and emojis and all that. Yeah. So I'm thinking that they know us millennials more than, ourselves. And shock of all shocks, they don't know it. So yeah, this is cool, but okay, at the end of the day, we do have to ask ourselves, did Pimple really need this whole quote-unquote
Apparently
arc?
not,
Because-
because it didn't. Sadly, the lesson he was supposed to learn turned against itself, meaning that he did not have the opportunity to learn anything. I don't want to say that the experience was pointless, because stuff has happened actually, but it's close to that, I guess.
It's
And I
Not
gotta-
a diamond achievement.
Not just for the
it's a problem with
holidays.
the story. It's a problem with the story and the pacing here and there. Like, maybe if there was more good content. Like, it's like you said, this feels like it should have been a segment that, was like capping off the second act of the game. But no, this is really, really closing in towards the end of the game, so... It just feels like about a padding more than anything, unfortunately. Because, I mean, nothing's really gained or learned from it in the end of the day. Like, and maybe that's supposed to be the comedy of it, but like I said, the joke wasn't even really that funny to begin with Pimple, I guess, deciding, oh, he doesn't want to be a Battletoad anymore because he has anger issues, even though anger issue was never really his thing from what I recall.
Okay, remind me again, which was the one who got captured in the NES game?
I forgot.
I think. Okay. Are you talking about the original Battletoads game?
The NES game, Pedro. I remember one of the Battletoads actually get captured, and it's your excuse on why you're controlling only two. Yeah, Battletoads.
I forgot.
I don't remember which one that was.
Actually, I think it was Pimple that got kidnapped, if I remember correctly.
Because it was like along with the princess, I think.
Whatever. The point is, yeah, just keep repeating these free mini games over and over until you win.
Again, they're funny at the start, but like everything else, it drags on a little too long.
When you say by, well, that's true of life in general, Jim. Oh, you mean this game?
Nearly 70,000 likes.
This guy must have some serious range.
That's the thing. That's the thing. With apparently not even a cult of Jasonians managed to cure that.
Well, I mean, their tactics were a bit odd anyway.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they worshipped a bloody rock with a picture on.
Oh shit.
And that's it. A rock in a hard place.
And you got another double achievement.
With friends like these.
Falling out with your friends.
I guess it's
hashtag thanks
to your entire chapter.
Hashtag thanks, Jason. All right.
Right, so.
Yeah, we already did that.
Meanwhile,
unhappy civilians may have teamed up.
No, I was talking to Jova.
More shooting. All right.
okay.
So here
Like
we are, we're back at...
how long is the way towards the Topians? Actually,
As long as
way away.
as long as the developers need it to make sure the game has the correct length that they want to.
because keep in mind, I'm a sucker for these for the space shooter stages. But like again, it's like what Jova said in terms of pacing. Right as we dropped Pimple, the others had like 3 shooting stages, space shooting stages, just spruced in between the platforming section. Which, sure, they are spruced in between, but you'd think they will get, like another type of stage with just Zit and Rash, instead of just the space shooting. But it seems that's the only thing they've been done so far. And I have to guess they're gonna be reunited with Pimple anyway before the final level, so we'll have to see how that turns out.
Like, this stuff isn't inherently bad, but it's like, guys, you have so much length of game that you could be doing more interesting things with, or not even more interesting, but just some different stuff here. Like, here it's just about run into this out in space, go back to Pimple, run into this out in space, go back to Pimple.
I get the idea, considering we're near the end of the game, I get the idea this is where whatever ideas and intentions the makers had started losing steam or had to be rushed.
And again, like, I'm gonna say it honestly, at this point in the game, I would argue that the original Battletoads had a better sense of what its main gameplay style was. Yes, it had multiple gameplay styles, but I'd say overall it was balanced enough that you could determine that platforming was supposed to be its main element. But here, even what was supposedly the main star of beat 'em up in the start here, that has been gone for a good chunk of the game, to the point where it feels like this game sadly has even less of an identity than the game made back in the 90s.
Kind of a shame because I really dig these space shooting sections. I wish that, like, if the dev team made a standalone shooting game like on its own entirely around this, again, just as an IP on its own, not even to be connected to Battletoads, I actually wouldn't mind.
You
The
really,
mechanics do seem to be there.
you really need to play
I
Shooting
Rezo.
mini games,
Sorry,
I'd argue this
Go
game
on.
has some of the same problems.
Pedro?
like I said.
Well done. You really need to play Resogun too.
I know, I know.
Well,
Resogun is the best.
like I said-
Resogun is the best space shooter ever made. Basically. Go ahead.
Also, Dibs, yes, of course this game has some of the same problems from the game back in the 90s. My point is like, well, in some ways it feels like it does some of them worse than the game in the 90s. When again, this game should be all about improving stuff here and there. And like I said,
which is what should be the argument, like like what people have with ukulele. It wasn't that people's complaints is like it's
We already
it's too much like Banjo, but like you guys said, it should have just improved upon the problems with Banjo instead of being it's Banjo again.
All right.
I think when it comes to the reception of ukulele, it is more about of people really not liking it due to its quality initially, to the point where that was technically the main problem at the time here and there. And that's usually what companies pay mind to, like, the first round of stuff, because that is when the game is making its official impression to the world here and there. And unless you have a very, 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 very good game after patching, you may not garner their attention after the time has passed up.
Oh, well, now... Yeah, that's a bit more
Whoopsie.
problematic.
Most unwanted.
Hey, you got all the collectibles for the
Making
level.
progress.
A total, which equals a total of 25.
So now what?
Street justice was a bad idea.
You think? On the bright side, this is the perfect opportunity to test the ship's defenses. The defenses suck. Get us out of here or we're all going to die.
That's Pimple's emergency.
Brilliant.
Where is he transmitting from?
30,000 miles. Directly behind us.
No friggin' way we're turning around.
Wow.
We don't have a choice. Pimple's in trouble.
So, all that should
Oh wow,
travel
it's
were-
actually the conscious decision as a leader.
I guess it's part of his development or something.
I mean, he is the leader. He's supposed to take charge in situations.
Okay, this what we're
Oh no, this bit.
what we're about to is what I think is the worst part of the game. Basically, in order to, I guess, escape the enemies, we have to do a shit ton of series of mini. I'm not even kidding you right now. Remember, this is a blind playthrough that you're watching. Can you imagine how confused my brother and I were at this point? Wait, what? Like, okay, there's a
This shit is
there's
not
a.
explained well at all.
Here's what happens to you. The first phase is discovering which of these multiple mini games you're actually doing right now, because there's so many bright lights and so many things that it's kind of hard. You're basically just pushing buttons to make sure which ones do anything and which ones even doing stuff into which specific square. It's confusing as all hell when you're playing it for the first time, because you don't expect it, and you'll most likely get confused. Yeah, most likely this is what's going to happen to you. The same thing that's happened to us.
Especially because you have it seems you have a very tight time limit too.
And like I said, this minigame is explained horribly, i.e. barely, if any at all.
Okay, so here's what actually happens. You have to do a various series of mini games involving button prompts. So
Oh, they've been scrambled. Fantastic.
And it's so disorienting. And, imagine trying to do this all at once, too.
yeah, basically the idea is that we have to do something like, for example, for those things with the free columns, you have to press X, Y, and B to
When
make
you're
sure.
matching one of the red squares.
Exactly. There you go. So. I don't even remember which specific one I was doing at the time. Yeah,
Let me just set the record straight. This bit is not fun.
No,
at all.
it's
it
not.
It feels like busy work at best.
At best, and at worst, it's annoying as all hell, because if you fail, you
Yeah,
have
it looks like an Among Us mini game.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Do your tasks.
that's the thing, though. Even with Among Us, those things are portrayed in a simple enough form so that they're relatively simple. It kind of needs to be also in that regard.
Oh
This,
man,
though-
that stupid the swiping your card is actually hard.
Okay, I don't know which version
Oh,
we
yeah,
use, Dej, because even Johnny was complaining, but I never had problems in handling that.
I play on my Switch. I use the controller.
I use the PC version, so...
So you go.
I
Now,
don't know.
Mobile.
all right. So now as Zitz, I have to. Well, actually, no. I think it's my
Match the hexagon.
the hexagons. Yes, exactly.
You know, we should do an Among Us video.
What
Your
platform?
channel, my channel.
That's the thing, that from experience, we need at least 2 more people.
Yeah,
Arguably.
your channel and my channel.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But like I said, count Shiroi out, because for doing the task, it requires a lot of reflexes, doing things correctly in time, and I'm not sure if she's up to the task.
Okay,
guess
so Dwibs, Jova, Pedro, Tio, me.
Also,
Terrence,
you have
Ghost,
you have to
seven
be
already.
you have to be good at lying if need be. So there's that too.
What platform?
It seems like someone's a terrible imposter and is looking for excuses.
What's,
to not play.
what platform is it on?
PC.
Switch, PC, and mobile.
Oh, so I can play it from the Switch then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's similar to games like Jackbox. You just need a host, which creates a room upon which it's a code that, given to the others, allow them to enter it.
Hey guys,
It's crossplay, but yes, Jova?
this is still going.
There's
Like,
also a mini game. There's a mini game that involves someone getting floppy disks in the minefield. I don't even know what the hell that's about.
Again, like I said, the major problem here seems to be mostly the time limit. If it was at least its double, or hell, how like making non-existent or reconvert it to something else, some other type of pressure that you're supposed to have, probably would work for the best and allow you to actually, study the mechanics and everything. But here, it seems that you're pressured purely for the story's reason's sake.
Not only that, but story-wise, why can't they just jet back and get Pimple? Is this them fixing the ship or
Yes,
activating
they're
the
mentioning
turbo drive?
system rebooting because they had to turn around and got hit by the other ships.
Yeah, but
Dun,
why
dun,
now,
dun,
though? I mean, the
dun.
ship has sustained damage before. Why do we have to do this god-awful minigame now? And yeah, I get it. For whimsy's sake or something. But for a minigame this needlessly complex, I demand an explanation like that. Okay, it's at this point in the game where the game has pretty much reached that point of no return. It's definitely dedicated to its gimmick, but that gimmick is what's going to sink it here. There are way
Sink
too many
like a
of these. There are way too many of these gimmicky minigames here and there, and this really takes the cake. Like I said, it's not explained well. It's not fun in the slightest. I have not seen a single person have fun with this minigame. Like, it's not even fun in the sense of teamwork, because again...
Wait, Jova, is this your first time watching this, or have you seen playthroughs of it?
Like I said, I've seen playthroughs of this. Heck, I even did play this game as well.
Oh. Alright, you say a lot during these, so some details kind of...
There you go, Zip.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Almost there.
Almost
Okay.
there. There we go. Jesus.
Finally, but it doesn't even look fun to look
Thank
at.
you,
I mean,
Nyan, communist face.
okay, granted, if any of you guys find that fun, then
Unfortunately-
more power to you.
Tio, unfortunately, that's now an NTF.
So let me get this straight. Total systems meltdown. So I literally go from succeeding to failing to succeeding again. Stage complete.
Makes it feel pointless,
Moving on.
don't it?
Well, that was stupid and made no sense. Moving on.
See you next part.
See you in the next part where we finally
the
put
epic conclusion.
where the epic conclusion question mark.
Question mark.
See you then.
See you next time.
Yeah.